What's up everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how to mix your samples. This is super crucial, super important, because you can have the best sounding sample, but if it's mixed like dog shit, people might just pass up on it. So this is going to be more of an informational video. I'm just going to kind of give you some tips and help you to stay focused on the bigger picture. So this is the sample that we're going to like remix. I'm gonna just play a quick preview for you, take off all of the like leveling and the EQs and just remix it and kind of explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. But yeah, one of my favorite samples, and you can find this in my Gravity sample pack linked down below. Let's stay focused. So I highlighted all of the melodic elements in red, and as you can see we have a bunch of effects. I'm gonna keep like the delays and the phasers and all of that stuff on there because that's like the main part of it, but I'm gonna show you like how I'm gonna mix it. So I'm gonna take off this EQ, I'm gonna reset all of the panning. If there's any other EQs, I'll take those off. Take off this, just delete that, and we can just come back to it, and this should be good. All right, so let's hear it with no effects. Also, it's going to be pitched up too because my PC is kind of screaming, as you can see up here. We're at 70 CPU load, so that's not too good. It might crackle a bit, but here's a preview of what it sounds like now with no EQ, no panning, none of that. We have this other section. Alright, so now you're kind of familiar with what it sounds like. Let's go ahead and start mixing it. So, off rip, I think we have a bit of muddiness going on. So let's go ahead and... I think the synth bass is too loud. This is like one of the biggest things that I think producers run into, is like they have their bass instrument way too loud. So generally when you make a sample and you have to mix it, you're gonna have like a bass instrument, you're gonna have like main melodic components that kind of take up like the mid to high frequencies. A lot of producers don't like make room for the bass instrument. They just kind of like wing it, add a bunch of shit, and then wonder why none of the sounds are discernible. It's just muddy. So biggest tip number one is make room for whatever bass instrument you pick. I don't care if it's an 808, I don't care if it's a synth bass, a sub bass, a fucking guitar bass, I don't care. Make room for it in your other sounds if you need to. So like I said, synth bass right now is too loud for us, I'm turning it down. Turn up the EQ, or turn up the synth lead, sorry. Now we do have some lows in this low lead, so I'm taking some lows out. And if you're taking some stuff out, you can kind of boost a little bit to compensate. Just don't go crazy. Use your eardrums, you'll be straight. So I'm gonna pan this lead to the left since there's a lot going on. Pan the vocals a little to the right. And that's another underutilized tool, is panning. If you have a lot of stuff going on, if you pan it, it makes so much more room for like all of that stuff to be able to happen. Now, don't overdo everything, but like for the occasions where two cool ideas have to overlay, pan, bro. So now we turn the lead down. We're gonna pan this to the right. We could take some lows out of this lead as well. Not much here, right? But the small stuff adds up if you don't kind of handle that. Alright, now let's try to mix this part. So a lot more muddiness going on, and it's really just these two elements right here, right? We have the synth bass. and it's kind of fighting for space with this melody right here. Like, as you can hear, there's a lot of low end in there. Another thing people sleep on for sure is automation clips. You need to use these to, like, a lot of effects nowadays are like super overwhelming, so if you can control them by making them only appear at certain times, or like the effect is only so strong at certain times, or whatever the case is, that's what this allows for, is like modulating an effect. You get to control how strong or quiet or whatever the word may be for whatever effect you're using. You get to control it. And it's easy because you can do it by right clicking here on your mixer channel after you put effects and just create automation clip here, or you can actually go in the effect, mess with something, and then go up here to tools and go to last tweaked, and then go to create automation clip, and that'll make an automation clip for whatever setting that you messed with. You can actually make an automation clip for that specific thing. There's no limits. You can do it with whatever setting in whatever plugin. So I would make sure to be using that. So like I said, we got muddiness going on. I'm gonna solo the synth bass and I'm gonna solo the top melody. Yeah, whole lot of. So usually I like to start out using this EQ down here just to be quick. Turn up the synth bass just to hear it. Turn this down a bit. Boost a little highs. Boost some mids. Take some more lows out. Turn down the synth bass a tiny bit, and then turn down the textures a bit. Alright, now there's another sound down here. Let's see how it fits in the mix. Could definitely be turned down. Let's turn that down a bit. I'm gonna make the synth bass mono by messing with this knob right here. Turn it down a bit more. Let's turn this down a bit more. Turn up our main textures up a bit. Let's unmute everything. Turn the vocals up a bit. Turn the lead up a tiny bit. So make sure you're utilizing whether things are mono or stereo. Mono for them to take up less space, stereo for them to feel wide and take up a bit more space. Make sure you're EQing lows out of anything that needs it, just so you have room for your bass instrument. And then another huge thing is, I know it sounds amazing when the synth bass is loud as hell. I love it too, but you gotta let it sit back in the mix. You gotta think for the bigger picture. Now, if you're like releasing it as a solo project and maybe no vocals are going on it, or like you just want it to be that way, sure, go ahead. But if you're trying to send it out for like placements or to artists or whatever the case is, I wouldn't recommend doing it. That's just me though. But I think this is basically mixed, I'm not gonna lie. And then whenever I'm finished mixing, I like to add some type of tape effect, and I'm using this Tascam Porta 1 clean tape preset. Put that on there and it's going to make it shine just a bit more. The last thing that I want to do is I'm going to take out some of the highs of the synth bass and kind of boost some of the lows. Like I said, the bass instrument is mainly meant for the lows, so I don't really want it to interfere with the other instruments, which are like dealing with the highs. So turn it down a little more. I'm gonna render it out with the tape on and play it for you guys so you guys can hear it. Yeah, hopefully you guys learned something. I don't think you need to overthink it. Keep it simple. Unless you're trying to be an engineer, you don't need to learn all the decibel values, whatever the case is. If you're a producer, bro, just let the engineer handle all of that specific shit. You can spend all of that time working on new music and new ideas. You don't need to be sitting here obsessing about how loud your snare is compared to whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure it's not hurting people's ears. Make sure that the bounce and the idea is there, and that it's not too muddy, and you're good. You know what I'm saying? Not too muddy, synth bass or whatever bass instrument isn't too loud. Whatever you like it at, I would turn it down just a tiny bit more. That's just me though. Use automations, like I said. It's as simple as right clicking on something and just creating automation clip, or if, like I said, mess with any parameter and any effect. Like I can mess with like warp or something, and then I could go to tools and then go to last tweaked and create an automation clip, and it's gonna create an automation clip for the warp thing that I just messed with. Like it did right here. You can see it says delay warp. So you can mess with literally anything. Experiment away. Go crazy. Hope y'all learned something. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, as it helps push this video out to as many people as possible. And my main goal is to inspire and teach as many people as possible. So you doing those free things that take a quick second will help really push the channel out. So I appreciate you guys. Here is the finished sample with the little tape effect on. If you're a sample maker, definitely get you some type of like tape VST, and then just, you know what I'm saying, put it on your samples. It's gonna be fire. For more in-depth tips and tricks like this, check out my Patreon, where it's unedited VODs, tips, tutorials, exclusive samples, placement opportunities, everything you could possibly ask for. Join our Discord community, link down in the description, and make sure you go get my new Radiant Analog Lab bank with 50 Analog Lab presets and 50 one-shots. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.